What is up, faithful? It is your boy Niner Sickness with the Niner Sickness podcast. We have a great show tonight. We have a few guests that are popping in at the last minute. These guys are troopers. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk a little bit about the Niners and Bears game on Sunday. Who's playing, who's not, and who's going to be the MVP of this game right after this.
Roll up to the party, 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 roll up to the party.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? They are trickling already. We got Mariah from 49 Faithfully in the house. How you doing, Mariah? Melissa is in the house. How you doing, Melissa? Welcome to the channel. Oh my goodness. There's so much to unpack. But before we get started, do me a favor and make sure to wipe your feet before entering and smash that like button for your boy, Niner Sickness. Show me some love. Let me know you are watching. Also, give me a sec. Let me adjust this mic. Do me a favor, follow me on Twitter if you haven't followed me on Twitter at NinerSickness49. And I would appreciate that. You can also follow me on IG at Niner Sickness. Follow me there. I post quite a bit there. Follow me there. Also, I just started a TikTok. Yes, me, this all fart, a TikTok. So you can follow me at Niner Sickness Podcast. So follow me on TikTok, appreciate that. And I also have a Facebook page and group that you can follow me on at Niner Sickness or Niner Sickness Podcast. It will still take you there. Make sure to follow me. With no further ado, I got my guest that I'm bringing on. You guys did not come to see me. You guys came to see my guest. Let me introduce you to 49er Media. What's up, brother?
What's up, everybody? Hello, everybody to the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button for Niner Sickness.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. So, 49er Media. Football is finally here. It's just there's only Saturday in between now and Sunday, bro. And I just want to go to bed tonight and wake up Sunday morning. We can skip Saturday for all I care and get ready for that Bears game. Let me ask you, are you excited about that Bears game?
I am so excited because I've been, waiting. I'm sure the whole faithful been waiting. It's, a new era here in San Francisco with Trey Lance as a starting quarterback, and so I am super hyped up because now these games finally count. We're gonna be able to actually see Trey Lance get a lot of playing time and see him, go through his ups and downs. But it's gonna be a fun season. It's gonna be a fun first game versus the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields and Trey Lance is gonna be a good one for sure.
Absolutely, I am fired up, bro. I can't tell you all this. Trey Lance is not the quarterback. Is Jimmy going to play the minute Trey Lance messes up? All this, it's going to finally be put to rest. I think that if you had to pick a game to start off, particularly a defense, to have Trey go out there, it's definitely the Bears. Nothing against the Bears, but they are who they are. And right now, they're not a good defense. And they lost a lot of key players. So, therefore, the taking is there. I believe the Niners are going to go in there and have a good game. Now, the only concern is we all know the weather can take a factor, especially since we have pretty much a brand new offensive line other than the big silverback and Mike McClinchy. But Mike McClinchy hasn't played for a very long time. So, my question to you, do you think, honestly, the weather could be a factor in this game, one way or the other?
Oh yeah, the weather for sure is going to be an impact because it's supposed to be raining. They also just put in new turf, I guess, at the stadium. Apparently, it's like the MetLife turf there, but it's gonna be, even Trey Lance, like, even though, he's played at Fargo, Minnesota, and things like that, his college days, like, he's played in snow, so he hasn't really played in rain. And, we saw it a few years ago in 2019 when they played in the rain, versus the Commanders, and, it was a pretty, like, crazy game, because there was only 9 points by the Niners, and then, last year versus the Colts, at Levi's, it was raining too, but we should expect a lot of running the football. I think we're not just going to see Elijah Mitchell, right? We'll see some Ty Davis Price, maybe some Jordan Mason too, but the Niners are going to run the ball too a ton, and especially in a game where it's going to be wet and rainy.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be a game where you're absolutely correct. We'll see what happens. But I think, like you said, running game is really plays a key part of a weather conditions game like that, is who will impose their will on the opposite team. And I think the Niners are set up with the personnel and roster to able to do that, to be able to impose that run game. Now, Kyle's going to have to get that run game going immediately against the Bears, but I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm looking forward to seeing Elijah Mitchell back, and I don't think Jordan Mason will play at all. I think they have Wilson and they have TDP that most likely Mason wouldn't play. Who knows? But do you think, with the running backs that I just mentioned and the ability to run, do you think in this type of sloppy weather, if it is indeed, do you think the Niners will use Debo as a running back, or do you think they'll protect him and use him just as a receiver?
Oh man, that's a great question. It's definitely tough to say, but I think the Niners obviously do want to run the ball, but I think Debo, I think just throughout the whole season, like, I know he has the incentives in his new contract with, for rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and I think we'll see it maybe a little bit, but I think we're going to see mostly Mitchell and Ty Davis Price. The one thing I'm also interested to see is how the offensive line looks, because in my opinion, like, during the preseason, like, I think the offensive line, definitely was it's a work in progress in pass protection and the run blocking game, but I definitely think, we're going to have to see also how the holes are, there, because especially in that Texans game, there was not really any holes for these running backs, so that's something I'm also watching out for, is to see what the offensive line looks like, and do these guys hit the holes. So that's definitely going to be an important part, but I think Debo does get a few carries.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the defense is going to dictate what Kyle does with Debo. If we're able to move the ball well with the guys at the running back position, I think they'll preserve Debo for another opportunity, a different game. But I think if our running backs, which I doubt it, are struggling, or if the offensive line is not opening up the lanes as well, then they might consider that. But I think Elijah Mitchell is ready to go. I think this kid, he gained some weight, some muscle. We know his ability. Just his health issues were a little bit of a concern last year. But yep, this kid being picked out of Louisiana in the 6th round, I mean, he's here. Trey Sermon is not. Much said there. I mean, he's a 6th round, and he's here in the 3rd round pick. It's not. So that just tells you that a lot of times, just because you were great in college, doesn't mean that it translates to the NFL. Sometimes you go to a smaller school, aka Trey Lance, look at Josh Allen. He went to Wyoming. It wasn't a big school. He came in and nobody knew too much about him. People call him a bust. His own fan base, which they're eating humble pie, and I bet you at this point they're happy to eat that humble pie, but they were calling him a bust. Cut him, we don't want him, blah, blah, blah. Sounds familiar, right? With the fan base that we have sometimes, delusional. And looking at Josh Allen now, look what he did yesterday against that Rams.
Oh, man, he was amazing.
Yeah, even though the Rams are not the great, but listen, one of the things you got to do with an AD coming at you is you got to get the ball out quickly. That is the key. Can you get the ball out quickly? And that's one of the things that it'll be interesting to see what happens in Week 4 because Jimmy, as much as people don't like him, he did have the ability to get the ball out quickly. Now,
Yeah, he has the quick release. Yeah.
now, with that said, Trey has his legs to run away from AD, which Jimmy couldn't do. So that to me translates to the same. Jimmy has a quicker release. Trey has his legs, so I think Trey will be fine. But we're not talking about Week 4. We're talking about Week 1, 49er Media. And before we continue on, now that we have a full house in here, where can people reach you at? How can they get a hold of you? How can they follow you? Please feel free to put out your platform, brother.
Oh yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at 49er Media. The handles are all the same, so it makes it really, really easy to find me.
That's the way to do it. Nowadays we're the drive-through lifestyle. Everything we want, everything instant. So the easier you make things to do for people to follow, the easier people will follow. How you doing, David Villa? Let me just go ahead and acknowledge people that have been popping in. We mentioned earlier Mariah and Melissa. We got who else do we have in here? We got David McNew, Terrendum. We have Jamie Bryant in the house. We got Scott Hill, David Avila. Now a couple of you are going to say Facebook user. You have to unfortunately let Facebook. Accept Facebook to accept Ecamm, which is the platform that I use to go live in order for your name to be shown. If you don't want to show your name, that's fine. You can just put it in the comments underneath and just so that I can address you properly. Otherwise, I'm going to call you Facebook user. And if there's more than one Facebook user with no name, I don't know who's who. So we got Optimistic. How you doing? We got Colts Chronicles, my boy, one of my co-hosts. On the Last Man Standing that we got going on, where we predict games each week, which I started. So there's 5 of us. They go on, and we started last week, I believe Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, and we predicted all 17 games. And I called it the Last Man Standing because obviously at the end of the season, I will be the only one. No, one of us will be the only one standing at the end with a better record. So that'll be so if you guys haven't tuned in, tune in. Now the beautiful thing about the Last Man Standing, that you'll be able to watch this episode on each of the gentlemen as my guest platforms. So if you guys follow a certain person, like for example Colts Chronicles, if you follow him on his channel, he will put it on his channel, so you'll be able to see it on his channel. My boy Brandon, if you follow him, he'll have it on his channel. Peter on his channel, and so forth. So everybody puts it on their own channel, so you don't have to actually follow it on mine. You're welcome to do so, but you can check it out on their respective channels and support them and like the video on their channel. So 49er Media. You look like you're a young man. How long have you been a Niner fan, and who or what introduced you to them?
So yeah, I've been a Niner fan since I'd say like 2011-ish, 2010, 2011-ish, right near the Harbaugh area, right when the Niners were real good. I would say like I watched the games during that time, just wasn't really like as like close as I follow the team now, but yeah, just because like I'm from California, from the Bay Area, you know, gotta go for your local teams, so repping the Niners.
That's it, bro. That's it. 2011. Oh my goodness. I feel old. I've been watching football since 1976.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't gotta go, wow. He's like, wow. We got a dinosaur on this podcast. I got to watch the 49ers before Bill Walsh and before Joe Montana. So they were on the team when I started watching. Now, I started watching then, but my first game that I ever been to for the media was the catch between Joe Montana and Dwight Clark. I was there to watch that in person. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that I got to watch all 5 Super Bowls in person. So, not on TV, but in person. And the first Super Bowl, I was 14. So it wasn't, it was not like I was like 6 or 5 where you can't remember. So I remember them all. And you probably don't know this. A lot of viewers may or may not, depending on their age. But there was the Super Bowl against Cincinnati where Joe Montana had to come back under the 2 minute to win the game because they were behind. And it was alternating Joe Montana to John Taylor for the win. John Candy was in the audience watching that Super Bowl. And I don't know if you ever heard it, but Joe Montana, when he's been interviewed, he's mentioned that while there was a commercial break and he was kind of nervous and, trying to keep it together, he noticed in the stand that John Candy was in the stands, and he made that comment about seeing him and brought it to his linemen, and they laughed about it, and then they went on to proceed to go down 90-something yards to win the game, while I was 2 rows away from John Candy. So, yeah, those are memories that I can't leave behind to my kids, but they unfortunately they go with me. But yeah, those. So I've been to all 5 parades in San Francisco and watched the confetti. So I'm looking forward for the Niners to truly, I wanted them to win a Super Bowl in 2012 or 2019 because, like yourself, and a lot of you that did not get the opportunity to watch a Super Bowl live or a championship win live, and haven't experienced that, I want them to win it, not necessarily for me anymore, not even for the team, but for you guys, for you young people that support the 49ers and love the Niners. I want you guys to experience, whether you guys can go to San Francisco or not for the parade or not, but get the opportunity to see the Super Bowl and enjoy the win. I know you saw 2012 and I know you saw 2019 Super Bowl. And it's fun to even get to do that because if you talk to Jets fans or Lions fans, they can't even tell you that they'll be happy with a NFC championship game, much less a Super Bowl. But there's nothing like watching your team hoist the Lombardi trophy and seeing that confetti come down and seeing kids, particular players, run up to the player and hug the dad and the confetti is on the kid's hair and all that. It's just, being there is even more funner, obviously. But even if you're watching it on TV, you get to experience that. And that's the reason why I really want the Niners to succeed, not necessarily for the team itself or for myself, because I got to experience that already, but for you guys, those that did not get to experience to see Steve Young kiss the trophy, after everybody touched it, but he didn't care because it was something that nobody can take it away from us. Yes, it's been 27 years since we been able to lift one up, but people fail to realize, especially Rams fans, that they're always bragging about they won 2 Super Bowls in the last since the last time we won one. But I always remind them, but you guys only won 2, and one of them was in St. Louis. So the Niners still have 5. Now it's been a minute, of course, but the hardware is hardware, right? 49 media, it's history. You can't take that away. We have 5 Super Bowls. How many? Let me give you another pop quiz, and if you don't know, I don't, because I'm not even bothered to bring it up. But do you know how many Super Bowls we played so far, from the beginning into today? If you don't worry, because I don't even know the answer right off the bat. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but sometimes people know. That's why I ask. But I forgot. And people in the comments, if you know how many Super Bowls, my point being is, out of all the Super Bowls that has been played, two teams have 6, right? And two teams have 5, and it
There's
goes
some
down.
teams that have 0.
And other teams have exactly. But just imagine for a minute, 5 Super Bowl wins, and the amount of Super Bowls that have been played. That's impressive. That's very, people don't realize that, And the Rams finally got one last year, but prior to that, they only had one. Period. Like the Seahawks. Seahawks only have one. Cardinals have 0. So, yes, we haven't seen a Super Bowl in 27 years, but the way this roster is built and the way this coach is Kyle Shanahan with now Trey Lance. Now, if Trey Lance can develop into half, I'm not even going to say exactly a Josh Allen, but if we can get a half of Josh Allen, and I'm not saying this year, I'm talking about just in general, this team will be very competitive years to come, and the Niners will win at least 3 more Super Bowls, if not more. I really believe that, and you'll be able to get to watch that confetti, my friend. Let me welcome David Edmondson in, my brother from another mother. We're going to do a show. I send you a message, brother. Check it out. Either Tuesday at 5 or Wednesday at 7. Let me know. When you're my age, and I'm in my middle 50s, I tend to book things, double book things, and I got to learn how to use a calendar. So I apologize for that, David. I'm not hip like these youngsters today. So let me ask you, since I have you on here, out of a player other than Justin Fields, not named Justin Fields, which player in the Bears do you think the Niners may have trouble containing?
I'm gonna say Darnell Mooney just because I think he's their top receiver, but it's also like the secondary's improved. And the thing is, like I on paper, the secondary looks much improved. You're gonna be missing Jimmy Ward. Obviously with the D line, it should make it easier. But again, Darnell Mooney is like the best Bears receiver that they have. So you're definitely gonna have to contain Darnell Mooney because Justin Fields has a great, connection with Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney, a receiver for the Bears. Yeah, I think he's probably the only one, because I don't know if they can. Pettis is anything over there, and the other kid, I can't think of his name. He's not that good either. Stickles, or something like that. But Darnell Mooney.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah. We all remember Dante Pettis, right? Can't be no worse than Williams. Do you remember Kyle Williams?
I remember the name. I just don't remember.
God, I'm feeling older and older every minute. He's the guy that he botched the punt return and hit him in the leg, and he moved out of the way, and the Giants recovered, and the Giants went on to the Super Bowl instead of the 49ers. The Niners should have went, and a lot of the older cats remember. I bet you David and 10 of them remember who Kyle Williams is, for sure. That guy, man, he got me sick to my stomach, bro. Sick to my stomach. Like, get out of the way. What are you doing? And all we're going to do is kill the clock. That's it. And we're going to the Super Bowl. And what did he do? He goes and gets in the way and just gives it to the Giants. And there goes Eli and beating the Patriots. We would have faced the Patriots. And I know we could have been beating the Patriots easily then. But it is what it is. So Mooney, so that's offensively. Give me someone on defense that you think that we may have trouble against. Harris Barton. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Roquan Smith's always, I think he's definitely an underrated linebacker. I think he's for sure one of the best linebackers in the league. And so, I think that's going to be definitely important. Trey Lance, obviously he's still a young guy. He's trying to develop. He's going to have his ups and downs. So definitely Roquan Smith is one of the guys I'd say to really keep a eye on.
Yeah, I like him. I know they also have what's the name of that defensive pass rusher?
Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn. Yeah, he's still he's up there in age, but he's still can bring some havoc. Yeah,
I think he was like he had so many sacks last year. He was amazing for us.
Yeah, yeah. Now I believe when he went against Trent Williams last year, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not looking at my computer, I think Trent Williams only gave up one pressure to him. So when you got the silverback, that's awesome. Now if they line
There's
them up,
nothing to worry about when we got the silverback.
yeah. Now the one thing that concerns me is when we had Mike Tomlinson last year, the silverback didn't have to worry about the left guard. He just concentrated on his spot. Now with Aaron Banks, being that he's new, do you think that might take away a little bit of Williams' strength because now he has to kind of keep an eye on the little brother, per se?
Yeah, so I mean, I think Aaron Banks definitely playing next to the silverback Trent Williams. That's gonna help Aaron Banks. But yeah, like Trent Williams is gonna have to help Aaron Banks grow and develop. So I think definitely Trent Williams is gonna have to do a little bit of more, a little more than what he usually would have to do because you don't have Lake and Thompson. And I think obviously Aaron Banks has looked pretty solid, but it's preseason, and so it's gonna be interesting to see how he looks versus a Bears team that is gonna have their starters. That they might not be a very good team, but they're still their starters. So I that's definitely gonna be interesting. I think the interior for sure as a whole, because you have just everybody's new at the interior spot of the offensive line.
Yeah. So and talking about that offensive line, you got Aaron Banks, you got Jake Brundle. Although Jake Brundle has experience in the NFL, he's been in the NFL, he's not a top quality center.
Yeah, and then he hasn't started enough games.
Exactly. Now you have Spencer Burford, which is a rookie, and then you got McClinchy. But let me ask you, who do you think between Aaron Banks and Spencer Burford will have a better year at their guard position?
Oh man, that's a tough one because I think they're both. It's tough. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Banks just because he does have, like I said, has Trent Williams, the silverback, right next to him. But I really they're both Burford and Banks are gonna have their ups and downs. But I think Burford really could be a quality guy. Also, obviously he didn't play the best competition in college, and so that's a little bit just Burford's I think gonna have a little bit more time to have to gel, and also Banks got to be able to sit behind Lake and Thomason and learn from him last season. So I'm gonna go with Banks.
Banks, okay. Yeah, I think personally myself, and I could be wrong, and usually I am. My wife will always tell everybody, yeah, he's always wrong. But I believe that by the end of the year, and I've been preaching this since today and a couple weeks ago, I believe that Spencer Burford will be a top 10 guard by the end of the year. So for those who can throw egg at me or come back and talk to me at the end of the season, top 10 a right guard by the end of the year. That's how much I believe in this kid. This kid, what he's shown me, what he can do. And I base this on the all 22. I don't base this on just what I see on TV. Okay, I broken the all 22 him in college, and I breaking down film. I love to break down film, and I broken down film on him in preseason. And just because someone doesn't always look pretty on TV doesn't mean they're not going to be good or have not been good. You got to look at the things that people kind of overlook in a regular game. When you break down the all 22, you start seeing, okay, you know what? He did well in the run. Okay, he pass protected pretty good here. You know what? He pulled to the right here pretty good, and he opened up the lane for the running back, and little things you can see. So based on the film that I've seen, is why I'm saying now. I'm not an expert in film breaking, but I've watched it for a lot of years, and I've broken film for a lot of years, and I really believe this kid's going to be special. Even if I'm wrong this year, eventually but I really believe it'll be this year where he'll crack the top 10. And I know that's a lot, but I think this kid is special. So let me know in the community. Let me get the community involved. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, or you think that I lost my mind. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. I don't get butthurt, or I don't get, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and some people may not agree. So let me know in the comments. Do you agree that now I'm not if you haven't watched film and you're kind of going on the feeling, then maybe it's better not to respond. But if you've seen film on this guy, let me know in the comments. Do you think that I'm right or wrong? Because it's easy to say that I'm right or wrong if you watch film. But if you haven't watched film and you're guessing, you know what I mean, based on your feelings, then you might not be accurate on your response. It says the memory of Joe saying that about John Candy. They put in the movie Draft Day. Joe was another level at number 16. So you remember, yeah. Those are stories that these young people don't never got to experience. And there's so many, like the controversy between Steve Young and Joe Montana. A lot of people are dealing with, some people dealt with the Alex and Kaepernick situation. We're dealing with the Jimmy and Trey. But people that were not around tend not to remember that there were a lot of people that hated Steve Young because Joe Montana, as great as he is, and he is definitely the GOAT, I love Joe Montana style of play, but I just love watching Steve Young more on the field, myself personally. But people that love Joe Montana, especially when Joe Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, a lot of people weren't happy with Steve Young. A lot of people. Now, the difference between then and now for the NFL media is there was no media back then. So nothing was trending on Twitter. Nothing was trending on Facebook. Nothing was being played on YouTube like we do. There were not content creators. There were beat writers, but you would have to read it. You couldn't just, it wasn't as free as it is today. And therefore, people did not hear too much about, did they really fight, they didn't fight, or did they like Steve Young? People, I used to be a ticket season holder there at Candlestick. People hate it. Oh, he left. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Let me get back to this. I don't know what happened. He waved his hand, so I don't know if he had to go, or I just bored him out of his wits. Maybe I just talked. My uncle said I can talk the years off of Wooding Indians, so maybe that's what it was. Let's see here, real quick. Give me a second, real quick. Is that better, guys? Let me. Oh my goodness. Let me ask you guys real quick. I did not read that comment from my boy Kelts Chronicles until right now. Let me know real quick, and I've been behind in the comments, so let me know, guys, real quick. Has the audio got better or worse, or is it the same? Let me know, guys, real quick. Is the audio the same, better, or worse? If somebody can let me know right away, I appreciate that. I say right away, so I just want to correct it. This is what happens when I don't look at the comments. Usually when I have a guest, I tend to try to give myself more to the guest, and that way I don't read the comments all the time. So for that, I apologize. Audio much better. Okay. This is my problem. I have dual mics. I got two mics. I got two cameras and two mics. And I have the other camera off Normally, I have both cameras on. When I have both cameras on, both mics are fine. When I only have one camera and two mics, they're fighting each other. One's way over here, and then this one. So both mics are kind of like trying to take my voice and put it into the stream, and I forgot I had it on. So I'm glad I'm able to. Okay, cleaner sound. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how to say your name properly. I'm trying to, I'm not the best reader. And if you notice, I kind of like bubble your name real fast. I go right, and I want to properly acknowledge you. And I'm just going to confess, I don't know how to say your name correctly. And I don't want to disrespect you and call you something that you're not. So if anybody, well, it don't matter if you guys tell me or not. I can't hear you guys either. I should have asked 49er Media before he left, Bruntley, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if his internet went off or what. Or he, like I said, he just got tired of listening to me. Much better? Okay, better. I apologize for that. My goodness, I've been going at it for 36 minutes. I keep forgetting to turn that mic off. I know you. I appreciate it, brother, but it just region of terror. Oh, okay, got you, Melissa. I love you, Melissa. Breaking it down. Hey, Melissa, you want to join me for a few minutes? I can send you the link. If not, it's fine. No worries. Do not worry at all. I'm glad to have you in the comments. Or David, if you want to jump in, David, I can bring you on as well. David, I can bring you on. And today is just kind of one of those nights where the wife told me to leave her alone. My wife's like, leave me alone. Go and do your thing in your office. She goes, go to your office, do your thing. I'm going to go talk to my sister. So I'm just relaxing, enjoying the evening with you guys. So if anybody wants to come on with me, you guys are welcome. If not, I'll carry this for another half hour. But I'm excited about Sunday. I'm excited about Sunday. I'm excited about playing the Bears. And I'm also excited that the Rams got their butts kicked. I mean, the Rams got their butts kicked. I was talking to, okay, he's apologizing. Hold on, guys. Let me just respond to 49er Media, no worry. But so I'm excited about Sunday, man. I'm excited about getting up and waking up and finally being a football Sunday. How many Sundays have we gone through without football? It's finally coming this Sunday, the day after tomorrow. The anticipation of this game, the excitement, the worries, how's the offensive line going to do? How is Trey Lance going to do? Are they going to be able to protect him? How the weather is going to be? Are they be able to move the ball? Are they going to be able to successfully throw down the field? Is the Niners going to take a chance with this weather to go long? Or are they going to keep everything within the 20-yard hash line? And if they keep it within the 20-yard hash line, it's kind of resemble what Jimmy does, right? But I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because of the weather. They're doing it. Welcome to the Public Enemy. It's. I'm just gonna call you Dome, bro. It's that first word. I don't know. I can read it, but I can't speak it, which is kind of weird. Like Public Enemy song. See, I've never heard that song, so that just tells you my age, man. Maybe I did. I just don't remember. Man, everybody's educating me. I appreciate it. Tear you up. Got you. Mariah, don't be laughing at me, Mariah. Don't laugh at me, girl. Oh. Melissa says, I want to. Oh, there's Melissa. I got to learn how to look at the link. Give me a second. All right, Melissa, I just sent you the link. Melissa, come and give me some company. Let me finish up the show. Yep, they got real quiet. And she'll probably mention, that cool thing, she'll be able to mention your name. So maybe if I hear it, instead of trying to read it, I can pronounce it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Kids, don't do drugs. Kids, don't do drugs. Yes, they did. They definitely got spanked. They definitely got spanked. Yeah, they have no house. Really, their house burned down yesterday, didn't they? Talk about Ram's house. Their house burned down. Hell yeah, buddy. Super excited. I'm telling you, David. Once kickoff takes off, once the ball's up in the air and helmets start hitting, or shoulder pads start hitting shoulder pads, I'll be able to relax a little bit. Now, if the Niners begin to struggle, then I start worrying again. But I can't wait for the game to start. Excuse me. The injury to Stafford has arm fatigue. You know what? People may want to downplay that, David, but I think personally there's an issue with Matthew Stafford because I don't know about you guys, but I did not see him throw deep once. And maybe because they don't have Odell Beckham there, possibly. But I did not see him go down the field once. And how much of that is it because Odell Beckham's not there? Or is it because the problem with his elbow is greater than what the Rams are trying to make it to be? We'll wait and see, man. Corey Davis is in the house. Welcome, Corey. Welcome to the channel, Corey. Good to see you, my brother. Prayers continue. Listen, everyone. This is not me putting. This is me not putting. Hold on, Melissa. If you can try the Chrome browser, Melissa, depending on what you're going on, if you're going on your computer, if you're going on your phone. Anyway, I'm not putting Corey's business out there. He's mentioned it to a lot of us. I'm doing it strictly for him. My friend Corey, our friend Corey Davis, was unfortunately diagnosed with colon cancer, stage 4. And he is hurting. So please keep him in prayer. Pray for him. Pray for his family. And that God will have his healing power over his body. And that we come against that colon cancer, stage 4. So keep him in prayer. Let me go ahead and bring in Melissa. Give me a second, guys. Where is she? There she is. Melissa, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let me remove that for a second. Good. Well, thank you for coming on to the show and keeping me company for a few more minutes.
No problem.
So,
it's Terradome, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. See if Terradome.
Yeah, Terradome.
Terradome. Yeah. I was like, I keep trying to like say it really fast, and I'm like. And he's bringing a lot of great comments, right? And I'm like, oh, darn it. I'm going to screw it up.
I want to thank you, but I don't know how to pronounce your username. Or sometimes like it's an obvious name and you think it's pronounced one way and then it's pronounced another way.
Yeah, I've done that.
You don't want to offend people? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I've done that plenty. And part of me because I'm uneducated, but we're not going to go there right now.
It's not about uneducated. No. It's just sometimes people have like weird ways they pronounce their names. Like, there's somebody who has a name that's pronounced one way, and then you get them all pissed off when you pronounce it a different way. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, some people do get mad, and they're like, "That's not the way it's pronounced." And so I've gone there, done that. So let me ask you, Melissa, what are you looking for? I mean, I'm obviously looking forward for a W on Sunday, but what do you want to see? Who do you want to see besides Trey Lance? I know everybody's Trey Lance, but who do you want to see besides Trey Lance do very well?
Well, you were kind enough to be there for the last 2 days with Forever Faithful podcast, so you kind of heard my answers already.
That's right.
Um,
But for all my
but
viewers,
I will give a different answer right now. I'm actually
okay,
really looking forward to seeing Charlie Warner the most on offense, just because
interesting.
we haven't really
Okay,
had the chance to. Like, he's an
okay,
amazing blocker. He can catch, but like a lot of people on our offense, he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to shine yet because he's always the backup of the backup of the backup. So it's like the fifth or fourth option, and it's like whenever Kittle's out or Juice is hurt or something else, it's like Ross Dwelly or nothing. It's like we don't ever really get that other option except for having bodies to block for us. So it's my dream to see Charlie Warner kind of shine right now.
interesting. Especially with Kittle probably
Hmm.
not playing on Sunday due to that
He
groin
shouldn't
injury.
play.
And you're right, especially
I,
in
I
that
love I
condition.
love Kittle, but I really really don't want him to play on that field. And
I,
I know they're professional athletes. He's making one of the top monies for a tight end and all the other nonsense. But it's just like at the end of the day, you got to think about the bigger picture. And Kittle is not one of those people where I don't know if you buy into that all that stuff or not. That he benches himself because he doesn't want to play with Trey. But this is a guy that missed his own holiday last year. Like this guy has to literally be benched. Like they even told him in 2019, dude, you're not even allowed on the field. You are allowed to be in a box. You
yeah,
can maybe jump and cheer in a box, but you are not allowed on the sideline because you will not rest properly. You will not sit down the whole game. You will not give your body the proper break it needs to heal so that you only miss 2 weeks. Like this is who he is, and it's just like it's crazy to me that these people rather slander his name just because he misses a few games here or there, or because he says some nice things about Jimmy. Like my thought is that he went on the Richard Sherman podcast talking up Garoppolo is because the team asked him to. That's what he's been for the last like 3 years. He's been that first person that always props up Jimmy in the media. Like, and they're still trying to trade this guy. Like, this is a thing. Like, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but at the beginning of this year, when they asked Kittle, "Have you talked to Jimmy lately?" He goes, "No, I haven't talked to Jimmy since the end of the year. I saw him once in passing, coincidentally in Vegas. We saw each other in the hallway. We said hi for 2 seconds, then we both went on to whatever we were doing." Like these guys are not close anymore. They don't hang out. They don't talk. Like this whole bullshit slander. Like you can be mad at Kittle for whatever reasons you want, but at the end of the day, he's not Team Jimmy. He's Team Niners. Like he still will not say one bad word about Brian Hoyer. He still loves Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. This is who he is. He loves his quarterbacks.
exactly. And real quick, Melissa, where is it? Where is it? David, I sent you the link, bro. Check your DM on Twitter. I sent it to you. I think I sent it to Melissa first again, and I meant to send it to you, but I sent it to you already. Yeah, you're right. And the thing about people don't realize, Melissa, is this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is ready to move on and turn the page from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance, and rightfully so. But
Mm-hmm.
we only know Jimmy from what we see on TV. Good or bad football play, regardless. We only know him for unless you're friends with him. But for me, I don't know him personally, so I only know him for what I see on TV. So it's easy for me to move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From him to Trey. But it's not fair to expect the same thing from Kittle, who has him as a personal friend, who's known him for 5 years,
Exactly.
and his build. They had beers together, whatever, barbecues, and there's things that there's a relationship they build. So of course he's going to talk positively about Jimmy, but at the end of the day, Kittle's one that supports whoever is under center. Okay, I love
He just
Jimmy.
supports his teammates. Like
Yes,
you, I don't know, was it this year, last year, or a couple of years ago? Anyway, there was this game where it was the Vikings and the Niners, and they were facing each other. And you know how Kittle's a captain. They went to the and I watch a lot of Mike Depp, so that's how I picked this up. And they went for the coin toss. They said hi to the other captains, and he I think it was Kirk Cousins. He pulled him into a hug, and he goes, so Garrett Selleck says hi. Like, Garrett Selleck hasn't been here in how long, and he's still passing along messages to other teammates that he's going and facing against, because this is who he is. He bonds with people. He goes close with people. I mean, he was just at DeForest Buckner's barbecue this offseason with his wife. Like, this is who he is. It's just, we all
Exactly.
can get angry about the injuries, but like, it's gone way too far on the Kittle slander.
It has. It has. Give me one. Um, it definitely has, and it's like, listen, now they're calling him injury prone, and I'm like, injury prone. I I don't know if you got a lot of people follow David. Is it David or Lombardi? I think it is David Lombardi. I like
Mm-hmm.
to follow him. I like because he likes to just speak the bottom line. He doesn't. He's not emotional. He doesn't speak out of emotion. He speaks facts, and he gave a statistic of how many games Kittle has played compared to
Yeah.
miss and what percentage. And
Yeah.
if you look at it, the percentage of all the games that has been played, he hasn't really
Mm-hmm.
missed much. So for
No.
people to label him as a injury prone,
Well,
it's just
it's
ignorance.
because it's always been different injuries, and I think a lot of people are still pissed at him that he willingly chooses to this day not to have surgery on his labrum. Like, they want that nipped and tucked and taken care of already. Like, they think that you're making this amount of money, you should do this. But you also forget at the same time, this guy has more reason for not wanting to have surgery than any of you can ever comprehend. He's very close to Trent Taylor. He was just in Mexico for the guy's wedding. And Trent Taylor pretty much screwed up his career for like 3 years straight just because of surgeries and all the infections he dealt with. He idolizes Gronkowski, and Gronkowski had to have that whole um, thing in his arm ripped out and then have 13 new screws put in a second time because it was infected. Like, these are people he's close to. These are people he's idolized. These are people who have lost serious time in their careers and have dangerous, dangerous infections. So at the end of the day, it's his right to choose if he wants to have surgery or not. And they're all different injuries. It's not like it's the same repetitive injury. It's the labrum, it's the knee, it's the ankle chip, it's now a groin. These are gonna happen for every single player. And the most time he's ever missed was the 2020 year where he missed 8 games. And he still came back at the end of the year, pointless as it was, because he missed being out there on the field with his brothers. He missed 2 games in 2019. He missed 3 games this past year, including his own holiday. And he was banged up on and off in his 2017 year. But it's not been that big of a thing. So this whole 86% thing, I'm glad it's kind of helping some people to realize it. But Kittle is not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. Like, it's so dire. And that he never does anything when he is on the field.
Absolutely,
You're speaking about 2020, that Arizona game that he had no business coming in, but while our quarterback was in the
Yes.
stands watching from a luxury booth, uh,
preacher
his
brother.
desire to play should be without question. I really don't understand the slander. I think it's because he's such a valuable piece that people want him out there. When he's not out there, he gets discriticized because of the big contract. But he does so much more than just catch the ball. His presence on the running plays, just blocking, the joy he gets from pancaking a linebacker or a secondary member just as much as a touchdown. He gets a
Yes.
pass for me.
Absolutely, the WWF mentality that he has is just like you said. He said it. I rather have a great tackle or block than a touchdown, and that's
But
what I love about him.
that's the crux though that I think it is for a lot of fans. They think that this guy's been here since 2017 and he's never had a 2 touchdown game ever. But then they don't use him very much in the red zone because everyone knows that Kittle is dominant, so he's usually used as that fake so other guys can get open. I mean, like, we all saw it in the Philly game last year where Jawan Jennings didn't have a single guy around him for like 5 yards because everybody was concentrated on Kittle. They were that threatened by Kittle that they did not care that this, at the time, to the league at least, nobody receiver got a touchdown because that's how much they fear him. Like, so I think that Ross Dwelly having that 2019 game where he had 2 touchdowns and then he had another big game on the second Arizona game, I think that has a lot for, like, people are like, well, we really don't need Kittle because we could have somebody else block, but you really can't duplicate Kittle with even 4 different players. Like, at the end of the day, we get that you guys are like stat hungry and you want these fantasy guys and you want all these big electric touchdowns and stuff, but not everyone can have the touchdowns.
They're too busy concentrating on the tight end from Kansas City making catches. They don't understand that he's the most complete tight end. It's not about just
Yes.
making catches. It's blocking in the trenches, doing the little things that helps the team. That's why he's rated so highly. And that's what
Yeah,
makes him unique.
but what also makes him unique is, like, when Gronkowski had all those numbers, he didn't have the receivers or the running backs that Kittle has. Like, it's not 2018 anymore. We have big depth on every single offensive weapon on our team right now. So if you thought his numbers were bad before, they might be worse now because, once again, we're starting 4 new people on our offensive line. And this is what, sadly, he's become, the six offensive linemen to bail out the right side of the line. So,
Right. Well, Gronkowski also had a system. Remember,
yeah.
New England used 2 tight ends at all times. They didn't really have confidence in their wide receivers. So
No.
that made Gronkowski a primary target. Whereas you're always going to feature your best guy on Kittle because he's that much of a threat. And like you said earlier, it takes about 2 or 3 guys on our team to make up for Kittle. You
Yeah.
know, you have Warner, the blocking specialist, Dwelly, the pass catching specialist, and then we're
Yusha.
going to see what Tyler Croft can do, but I don't think he can nearly replicate what Kittle does or his importance on the field.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I like Kraft. Definitely. I'm glad they brought him back, but you're right. There's no way he's going to be able to fill in the shoes of Kittle. But going into this Bear game, guys, I'm not concerned about Kittle. I mean, you always want your best players on the field, obviously, but I'm okay with that secondary and that defense. I'm okay with not playing Kittle, especially under those conditions. And I'm even okay not playing Kittle against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
If we can bring him back, in my
I
opinion, I'll
kind
do
of
it
want
against
him
the
against
Broncos.
the Seahawks just to rub it in.
Okay, well, for that perspective, I can see
I'm
why.
sorry. I have no love for Seattle at all.
Well, I'm with you.
I want to see him at Mile High so bad, where Shannon Sharp played, and I want him to just have another big Denver Bronco dominant game. But that's just the Kittle fan of me.
Yeah,
He almost broke
that's
the
where I
record
would want
against
him
them
back
last
at.
time. He almost broke the record in a half. Think about how crazy that is. For all you Kittle haters out there, this is with Nick Mullins. George Kittle almost broke Shannon Sharp's single season record in 1/2 of football. That's 2 quarters. This is how dominant he is if he is used. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget 2018 and him breaking the record because it was so injury prone that you just, like, kind of forget all the good that came in those kind of years.
You can't forget some against the hated Raiders. I mean,
Oh, I know. The Raiders.
I could listen to that clip where he's like, "Did it look cool?" They're like, "Yes." He's like, "Dude, my eyes are closed."
You gotta love
Like,
that,
think
man.
about that. That's like so cool that he could just, like, one hand catch it on instinct with his eyes completely closed and just run with the ball and
right.
bring it as far as he did.
Yeah, my concern about Sunday has always been the right tackle position, but
Same.
it might be a blessing in disguise that it's going to rain and concentrate on the run because that is what McGlinchey
Yes.
specializes in, not so much pass catching. So it might be a blessing that it's raining and we run the ball, just run it down their throats.
Yeah.
100%. You're right. That's for him coming back from an injury, might as well use him as his strength, which is a run block, instead of pass protect. So We'll see how he does. I mentioned this earlier. You were on the chat, OG, and I want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you've broken down film or seen film on the young kid Spencer Burford, but what are your
I
thoughts on this
have.
kid?
Um, my alma mater, San Diego State, actually played UTSA in a bowl game,
Oh, okay.
and we could not get past him. It was a high shootout, but he kept us at bay all game long. So yeah, he's definitely got the goods. The thing I like about college football, especially the lesser known names there is a lot of talent, and our organization does a good job
Yes,
of scouring that talent year after year after year. He was an absolute steal.
absolutely. A lot of times, I think a lot of general managers, when they draft high, they sometimes they fall for the name of a certain player. You know what I
Or a
mean?
certain school.
Or a certain school, and they pick. For example, Solomon Thomas. He was picked because he went to Stanford, right? And he had that history with Stanford. Not so much.
He's good at what he specializes in, which is running. He stops the run. He's not a sack specialist. Their mistake was thinking he was going to be a sack specialist along with DeForest Buckner at the time. And when that did not materialize, that's when, he fell out of favor. You
Mm.
draft guys to your strengths, not necessarily on potential.
Correct.
That's still my issue with this team, that we don't actually draft people to play at what they're good at. We draft people hoping to turn them into hybrids, and we completely tell them to change their way, change the way they've always played football, to completely mess with them and see if they sink or swim. And I think that has been a huge issue under Shanahan with Solomon Thomas and Aaron Banks and all these other people, that you're completely messing with what they're naturally good at.
Yeah, my issue with Shanahan is drafting running backs in the third round or high. I don't. He hasn't learned. You know what I mean? We go all back from what's his name, the kid that never even played a down. For
Utah, Joe
yeah,
Williams.
yes, Smoking Joe. He didn't smoke anything. Well, maybe he did,
Oh
but
no,
not on
he
the team.
smoked us out of money.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
he
go.
did.
And, so it's like, come on, man. Don't listen. Late draft pick like 6 with Elijah, undrafted pick like Jordan Mason, even the kid, even the Raheem Mostert we brought undrafted,
Undrafted. Yep.
and then even the kid that we had about 2 years ago that we sent to Miami. Was it Miami? And
Breida, Matt Breida.
Matt Breida,
Matt
yeah,
Breida is now a giant.
a giant. So we turned that into
Giant.
non-drafted free agent. We turned it into a 5th round, I believe it was, and
Right.
so you develop
Jeff
these
Wilson
running
Jr.
backs.
was undrafted as well, wasn't he?
Who?
He was.
Yes,
Jeff Wilson Jr.
yes. And see, you look at it now. Hopefully, that we can kind of break that curse. And I understand it's not because you draft in the third round and it's the curse of the third round, but because hopefully DDP does well, TDP does well for us. But you see Jordan Mason, win a spot, and then Trey Sermon's already gone, a high third round, but which we had to move into that round and trade, particularly with the Rams, to get there, to get that spot. Kind of like, man, what are you doing? But with that
You have
said,
2 more years of that, right?
I'm sorry.
Not having you have 2 more years left.
Next year will be the
without
last
having
year.
a first one.
Last year will be the last
Okay.
year. For you mean for Trey Lance, right? Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Next year will be the
One
last
more year.
pick. One more year, exactly. But
Personally,
the fifth,
I'm hoping that we take someone in like the secondary, a safety maybe, because Jimmy Ward sooner or later is going to leave us, and I think it's better to get that guy now than to keep using the Tavares Moores and everybody else and keep hoping they can handle the workload.
yeah, I think they. I mean, I like what they're doing with Hufanga. The kid, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now, but I think he can move into that Jimmy Ward role. One thing I like about the Niners are not only thinking about the
Odom?
present, they're thinking no. Well, Odom's more people. I mean, they may use him as safety out of necessity, but he's more of a
Oh,
special teams.
he can play some free safety. He did
can.
so
with the Colts
quite
towards
well
the
with the
end.
Colts last season.
Out of necessity out there, yeah, you're right. He can.
Are you talking about someone on the active roster or someone in the practice squad?
Um,
Because I think Odom, Moore, and Warden Hufunk are the only ones that
well,
were
Oh no,
Trevorrier's more.
out for the
I think you're
53.
thinking of the guy on the practice squad from
Yes,
San Diego State,
yes,
Taylor.
yes.
I can't think of his last
I
name.
can't
Taylor
think of.
Hawkins.
Yes,
I
Yeah,
love Taylor Hawkins.
yeah.
he
I
has great
absolutely love
ball
him.
instincts.
And I think the Niners are always looking at developing players to eventually place like we did with Aaron Banks. When Aaron Banks was picked, some people weren't happy with that pick at where he was taken, especially since he didn't play a lot last year. But they knew that they were eventually going to move on from Tomlinson, and they needed a left guard, whether people agree with that choice or not. But they needed that spot, and when they drafted Spencer Burford, they drafted him necessarily to see if they can play the right guard, which he did, and he's able to maintain that spot. Because I believe day one he started there, he never gave it up, right?
Right.
That's I
No,
love that.
actually, I
No,
Well,
believe
it was him and
originally it
Brunskill.
was Brunskill, and then they were trying to see what they could do at center, and then they started to move Brunskill to center, and then they moved Burford out to right guard, and then he never really gave up it
oh,
once he
is that
got
how it
that.
happened? Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
think it took a week.
A week, but for not him not giving it up, he's like, nope, this is mine.
that's really impressive because Kyle really hates making any kind of rookie a starter off the bat, and for Burford to be doing this and for Samuel Womack to be doing this, that speaks volumes to who those players are as people and students of the game.
Were you
Well,
guys? I'm
in
sorry. Go ahead.
fairness to them, they came in ready to play in shape. Aaron
Yeah.
Banks last season was not in any physical condition to play the style that Shanahan wants there. So they
Yeah,
had
but
no
he
choice
also
but
was
to say,
asked to lose a bunch of weight, and that's hard for a guy that's never played that thin before. Like, and I honestly believe that if McGlinchey had stayed healthy, that Aaron Banks would have played more often because I do believe that Mike McGlinchey, which has been on record, went to the Niners when they were drafting, and they were like, "You guys got to check out my guy from Notre Dame. We played together before. We're really close. You should get him." And I think that's why they passed on Creed Humphrey, who I wanted, and I'm hoping for the best in Banks, but at the end of the day, I'm really, really impressed with these rookies.
Now I have nothing against, and I think Javon Kinlaw is going to be a beast this year. But I wanted Wirfs to be drafted instead of Javon, even though we lost Buckner. But I mean, imagine if we would have drafted Wirfs instead of Javon. I don't know what you guys thought of that. Our right
I,
tackle and left
that's
tackle would have been solid.
that's the one year
Worth
I
is
didn't
very
have an
good.
issue with it. That's the one year I don't mind the defensive lineman being picked. I really think Javon Kinlaw's special. I mean, you had the tip field goal in the Philly game, so he can do special teams. He had that huge and pick six coming out of the half in the Arizona game. It's like Kinlaw is really good at stopping the run, which was never really a Defoe strength, I believe, just
No, you're
in my
right.
personal opinion.
You're right.
And
Right.
I think that with DJ Jones gone now, we need that more than ever. And with all the teams, like with these running quarterbacks and these guys that are like really small, like Kyler Murray, you need someone that big, that's that fast, that's that physical to take away all the pressure on the linebackers. It can't all just fall on
Yeah,
Aziz
take
and
on the double
Dre
teams. Yeah.
and Warner. So I think it's critical for Javon Kinlaw to come in, be healthy, and he says he feels healthier than he ever has. So I'm dying to see this guy just ball out.
Just put Grant Cohn's picture on your visor and he'll be
Dude,
great.
I've been saying that for days. I'm like, he's
Yep.
so gonna just like water boy this entire league.
Yep.
It's just like
You know how
picture Grant on everybody.
in high school
But
they used to have.
it was a bad PR move when we got him.
Yep.
You know, Defoe just went to the Colts. You draft him, he's wearing 99, he's playing the same position. So we're thinking, oh, he's going to get 15, 16 sacks easy. That's not
That's
how,
but
That's not his
that's
strength.
not his
but
specialty.
that's But that's his fan base. Everyone
They're-
thinks
they're-
it's reactionary. Like we all panicked when we heard that we were retiring Joe Staley, because Joe Staley has been like the heart and soul for the fan base and
I,
all the
was one
team
of them.
for years. And then you heard
I
Trent
was one
Williams
of
was
them.
coming in. And yes, you respect the game, you respect what he's done, and he is everything that you hoped he would be. But at the time, he was coming off that huge cancer battle. He hadn't played over a year and a half of football.
Right.
So you really, really didn't know what he was going to be like. And then when everyone saw that first huge pancake where he took the guy's soul in Arizona when it was like orange skies and there was like no one could breathe and everything else,
Yep.
like you were like, okay, well, we're cool now with Joe gone and we're good for we have a new era. It's just you need that moment for people just to bond and fall in love with the new guy, and for the new guy to be there enough to really make an impact.
And keep in mind that we gave up only a third and a fifth round for him to an
Yes.
owner that hated the Shanahans and Dino Snyder.
That was Lynch, because I kid you not, I really believe that yes, he turned down the Browns and yes, he turned down the Vikings. But if John Lynch wasn't the ambassador that's so well respected around the league
We wouldn't have
for
got him,
his
no.
play
Never
and for
would've.
what he did as an announcer, no way would Dan Snyder and his ego ever allow Kyle to get anyone he wanted.
He hates the Shanahan. He's coming public.
Then
and said it.
again, the Washington's known for doing stupid stuff year after year. So there's
but they-
always
Yeah.
some
There's the
possibility.
rumor that they made sure that Kirk Cousins could never come here because that was Kyle's guy. Like, this is the same guy that Kyle has trolled ever since him and his father got fired. And McVay's done it, LaFleur's done it, all his disciples have all gone at Dan Snyder. Like, if he didn't have a Lynch there to be the level-headed ambassador, and if it wasn't just Trent Williams wanting to come here and be with his people that he trusted, that trade would never have happened. Or if it had,
Kyle
it would
wanted
have
to
been
bring
for
Cousins
highway
to Atlanta.
robbery.
Did you know that Kyle wanted to bring Cousins to Atlanta, even with Matt Ryan there?
Yeah.
And that was turned down by. But then again, John Lynch wasn't involved in that discussion. So to get Big Trent Silverback for what we got him for, which is a steal, and again,
Highway
I love Joe
robbery,
Staley.
yes.
Yeah,
It
I
was.
love Joe Staley, and I have his jersey, and I will forever love him. He's a Niner, but people have asked me, who would you rather have? I'm like, right now, there's not even
There's no comparison.
no disrespect to Joe, no disrespect, but what Trent Williams has done, he can do. I mean, this guy, man, even in that first touchdown of Trey Lance against the Packers, remember that touchdown? Did you see what
Yes.
Trent Williams did?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Oh, yeah.
pancaked that defender into the end zone. So
Easy.
get out of the way.
That was the Packers game. That was the second game.
Wasn't in the Packers
Mhm.
game when he did that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
week
was.
three.
Oh, okay. That was
And
Trey's
I
first
loved-
touchdown, right?
No, that was his second.
Rushing
That was
touchdown.
a touchdown just before the first
That was
half
his
ended.
first rushing one, though.
Yeah, first rushing. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
But I love that he had the grace and poise to then take the ball and hand it right to Trent Williams and let him do the Gronk spike flick.
That's a leader.
Oh, he knew. He knew.
That's a leader for you. You know, people say just because he's 22, this guy's beyond his years, man. this guy's a leader. People, you know, like right before you came in, OG, you know, we were talking, me and Mother was talking about how, you know, people are mad because Kiddo has talked nice words about Jimmy. Why wouldn't he talk nice words about Jimmy? He's had a relationship with him.
That's the team. That's the team right there. I'm sure they made him talk about Jimmy because they're still trying to get rid of him by week
That's
8.
exactly what I said. Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Kiddo, you know, has a relationship with him as well. I don't think it was hard for Kiddo to do so either. It's not like his arm was twisted.
The guy still keeps relationships with Beathard, with Mullins,
Yeah,
even with
Thank
Bobby
you.
Boyer.
CJ
He
Beathard was
loves
just a
his
tight end
QB.
you.
but it doesn't mean he's not going to support Trey. He's going to support Trey 110%.
And by the way, I
Right.
didn't ask Dave to say any of those things. He just said it as well.
Are you sure, Melissa? Because I'm looking at you there, you know, using.
My hands have been moving this
No,
entire
we haven't
time.
had
I
I'm
see
not
you using Cash
typing.
App.
I don't use Cash App.
Here's $20, David.
Yo, Dave, are you watching the game at all on Sunday? Like in a watch party or something?
You know what? Los Angeles actually is getting the game live here, so I won't have to go to a bar or anything. So I
Actually,
actually be
I
able to
was
watch
gonna
it at
run a
home.
different opinion by you if you wanted to check it out. There's this website called getplayback.com, and Sickness was there yesterday. They actually allow you to stream the entire full game for everyone to watch at the same time and at the same speed, and
Hmm.
to video and audio chat while you guys watch the game
Yep.
together as a community. And Forever Faithful Podcast, which is part of the Niners Hive family, is hosting its own Get Playback all year long to help out of region Niner fans to be able to hang out, chat, watch the game together, and to watch
Sure,
live together.
that might
So that's
actually be good.
something that I really want to just push because Brandon is just such an
He
amazing
is,
person, and
and it's like
it
watching the
was
game on your
so much
TV.
fun. It was
And it's
so
called
much
Get
fun. Like
Playback.
I had to bite my lip a few times because my TV was like a little faster, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, like it's just so much fun to just like hang out with people and to see the same things and to joy and get cussed out and like just have that relationship that you couldn't otherwise have.
It's
Like
like
I'm
being
on
at
the
a
East
bar.
Coast. I'm on the East Coast. You guys are all on like the West Coast, and like
Yeah, I have to be
unless like
leery of
I
that
could
because
fly out, I probably would never meet any of you. So to be able to experience something like that with people that you've gotten close to is like a really special thing. So
I might actually check that out on Sunday
You'll
then.
like it, Audrey.
I'll send you guys the link in the big group TM
I had a
if you
problem.
Okay.
guys
It,
want to check
it
it
kept
out.
throwing me out yesterday, so I kind of just it threw me out a few
Yeah,
times, too many, and
see,
I got tired of
there's a
signing
trick
back
to
in.
so there's a trick to that. Okay, so Brandon, I don't know how he's doing it, but supposedly he's gonna be able to stream all the Niner games, whether they're in market or out of market for whoever. But the thing about Get Playback is you have to sign in with a TV provider of some kind. So if you have like Optimum, like I did, then you have to sign in with the Optimum username and password. And I
Or
kept screwing
Okay.
it up because
or
I
YouTube
typed out the
TV or
whole
Hulu.
email. So they have Hulu, they have YouTube TV, they have Peacock, they have all the different options. But for me, what I kept screwing up was like, you know how on HBO Max you have to type out your full email and your full password? And I
Hmm.
kept doing that, and I thought that's what they were asking for. And I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I'm typing in the right stuff. And they're like, no. You just need to type in your username. We don't want that at optonline.net thing at all. So you just have to use the first bit and then your password. And then it can connect to you, and then it won't knock you out after 10 minutes because that's the limit they have. If you don't log in properly, they kick you out after 10 minutes.
Oh, that's probably what was my problem. Yeah, I keep
Yeah.
logging in and keep kicking. I see, you know what? I can't do this. I gotta.
So it's with your,
You're
so
not
it's
the
with
only
your
one.
T-
John got so pissed off. I thought he was gonna just like come on long
so it's
enough
with your
just to like
TV. So
punch
it's with
stuff.
your TV provider.
Yeah,
Mine's
Okay.
whatever kind of provider you have.
yeah, Direct TV or
Yep,
wherever.
that's
Yeah,
me.
YouTube, Peacock, whatever.
you
Yeah.
just gotta not put the email, I guess, and just put your username as you would normally log it. Yeah, I was putting my email, and I was like,
Oh
I
wow.
want. 'Cause I talked to a few guys, and then I'm like thrown out. So then I'm sitting there trying to log back in, and I'm missing the
Yeah,
game, and
you
it's not
get
even a
frustrated.
Niner
Like,
game, so I can miss that
yeah,
game. But a Niner
Well, that
game,
would
no
actually
way.
be a good thing. I don't know how many of you guys have used Dofu Stream, but they have
I
like
hate
6 different
tofu right
choices.
now.
But you get knocked out for no rhyme or reason, and
Oh
then you
yeah, I
have to
can't.
wait an entire
Well,
half to come back and
Oh no.
everything
see, the
else.
problem with tofu is now they usually have two links, and that's it. They have usually the YouTube link, which gets reported all the time or monitored
Right.
and then gets knocked off. And then you have the zip folders, which are a scam, and you should be really careful with those because they can have a lot
Yes.
of bugs. And then they usually
Yes.
have another secondary link, which is just a random whatever website is trying to stream it. And then
And then that
sometimes it's
usually
so
goes
bad
out.
that you have to like chop back and forth between the YouTube and the other link and hope to God one of
Right.
them plays long enough where you can maybe see 15 minutes out of 60 minutes.
Yeah,
But
I don't have.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
that's what makes what Brandon and I think Jesse Naylor is also doing it from Last Second Sports is so special is that this is not like something you have to pay for. It's not a Patreon like watch party where you're just
No,
watching a
it's
bunch
free.
of
Yeah, I
people
love it.
talk about it. This is absolutely free, and you're not just listening to a bunch of people talk over the game. You literally get to watch it with them. So
Yeah, it's like
it's
watching it on your
absolutely
TV and having a phone
100%.
next to you,
yeah.
Right.
kind of. But I rather. But you're right. If you watch it on the actual computer like I do, I can keep up with everyone else. But if I was also looking at my TV and kind of knowing what would happen a few minutes before. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm not going to type it in there. But like I said, I was too busy being thrown out, so I just started looking at the TV and never logged back in after the
I
This
fourth
is
slipped
time.
up like
this is me
I
Sunday. I'll
slipped up
have the
like once or
TV,
twice
the
because I was like,
phone, and the
"What the fuck
laptop.
is Aaron Donald doing with his teeth?" And they were like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" And then they're like, "Oh, that's what she was talking about."
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, but check it out, bro. You'll like it, David. Check it out.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign up after this.
Yeah, sign up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you the link,
I'll have
and if
all
you
three
guys have any
devices.
issues,
I'll
yeah.
have all three devices going Sunday for this game:
yeah. This game's
the
gonna be.
TV, the
It's
phone, and the
finally
laptop.
Fields versus Lance. Like we've been waiting for this since the draft. Like
Yes,
I have to not be the only person that was like dying for Halloween to be Lance versus Fields, especially after certain somebody got cussed out by Kyle
we
Shanahan.
all wanted that. That was the first thing we talked about at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, Halloween.
Would
It
it
was
be
a
something if
holiday
both of
too.
these guys actually played? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big offensive guy. I love offensive linemen, so I like to. I really want to see what this offensive line does and how they protect and the schemes that Kyle Shanahan is going to call against that defense and which direction they're going to be going to try to protect Trey. But I think Trey's going to have a great game. I'm sick and tired of hearing about if Trey struggles, there's a straight dud, and it's like give it. Your boy, for some reason, real quick, David, since I have you here, I forgot his name. The one that in your show, the one that leads the whole thing. What's his name?
Don.
Don. For some reason, I know when I first jumped in there, I was high on Jimmy. I always liked Trey, but I was high on Jimmy, and I mentioned Jimmy. And from ever then, he thinks I go into to troll. I'm not trolling. I don't like Jimmy no more. I like Jimmy. I don't like my ex either. I liked her at one point. You know what I mean? But I'm over Jimmy. I moved on to Trey, and I'm supporting Trey. But every time I go in there, he goes, Niner Sickness, oh, yeah, the troll. I'm like, no, stop saying that. I'm not a troll. So let him know, bro. I'm not. Let him know I'm not trolling.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, let him know I'm not trolling, bro. I'm not trolling. I got you guys' back.
Trust me, I don't think there's one of us at one point or another that wasn't like diehard thankful for Jimmy because we were just finally happy to get past the Blaine Gabberts and the Brian Hoyers and all the other starting off 0-9 that year, which was absolutely horrendous. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, he had his time, and to keep pushing this narrative that, oh, we should give him the captain badge while he's a backup and all this other nonsense that's been coming out this last week. Like,
Dude, that's trolling.
come on, people. Like,
Yeah.
he had his moment, and I'm sorry that you're so in love with this guy and his stupid, dumb dimple chin or whatever the hell reason why you're all obsessed with him. But, like,
Yeah, captain
let the
badge
kid
as a backup. Yeah.
let the kid have his shot. Like, he hasn't had a legitimate shot yet.
He should never see the platform all year as a backup.
I would agree. I would agree.
So
I don't
so
even
I have a
want him
question for
mopping
you.
up. I don't even want him mopping up games.
Give it to Purdy, yeah.
So if we have it like a 2019 game where the Panthers and we're like up 50 points and Bosa's having a day on Baker again, you guys want Purdy in instead? Don't even give Jimmy even a look like a kneel down or to end the game. None of that stuff.
Somebody should tell Jimmy we're playing a different team.
I don't want Jimmy in there at all. It's beneath.
I love it.
Him, number one. It's beneath him, number one, as a starter to come in for mop-up duty. Let Purdy get the experience.
Is it really?
It is.
He pretty much said that he came here because he was not going to get paid anywhere else, and then he just wanted the pay.
You're already taking a pay cut. You're just going to rub it in playing mop-up duty too.
It wasn't a pay cut. It actually is a pay raise because he's only going to get 2.3 some like less than $3 million if he was cut healthy.
It's
Now
which
we
way you look at the
guaranteed him
cap, right?
6.5 base salary. Like this is a
It's
huge
still
pay
a
raise
pay cut from
technically.
24.
Yeah, for
It's still an
24.
$18 million pay cut.
But he had no guaranteed money, so it's actually a pay raise if you think about it.
Yeah, but the way we kept dragging it on, it made people believe that he was actually going to get the $24.5 million.
A pay cut, it sounds better, man. I don't
I'm
want
never gonna understand
one
that.
more year. You know what? If Trey does his thing and he stays healthy, keyword is health. We're not going to be talking about even if Jimmy's there, but you know what's going to happen with the camera, right? Camera's always going to
Well,
be
yeah,
going
they're
to the
going to pan to
sideline.
him every time he throws an interception
Yep.
or fumbles the ball or
And
makes a
that's what I
mistake.
don't want to. Yeah, that's the thing yeah, they're going to go to
But
Jimmy.
you can't control that. That's the national media. They're going to do what they're going to do.
That's how they
You know
get
what
paid.
I really don't want to do is like have what we dealt with Kendrick Bourne. Like anytime Kendrick Bourne had a good play for like the New England game, we were like, "Oh, look at what KB's doing away from us. Why did we let this guy go?" Like at the end of the day, like
He's
you
terrible
can
over
bond with a
there.
player
We
and
let
you
him go
can
because he wasn't worth the money he asked.
Yep.
no, but Dave, you have to remember when he threw that stupid touchdown pass in that game. Like everybody was freaking out on Twitter. Like, why the hell did we let
I
KB go?
wasn't.
He was always healthy. He was always clutch. Like all these people who were never Kendrick Bourne fans, like all of a sudden became like uber Kendrick Bourne fans. It's like
Those are people that are
sometimes it's just
emotional
I
fan
was happy
base.
he got the money, but I remember when he dropped passes back in the day and he wasn't as
no. I
reliable.
remember that. Like you guys were like my salvation because I never understood the love for KB
Yeah, you think people
ever.
get mad
He's
at
a
And
Jahar
that
character.
Jennings
That's
for
what it
dropping?
is.
and that Bills game was like the last straw for me. Like when he was celebrating the non
Oh
touchdown
my
when
goodness.
he couldn't even just reach his arm out a little bit more just to make sure that there was no way they could call that back. And I hate to break this up to everybody, but Shanahan was going to get rid of him in 2019 if it wasn't for Trent Taylor having the setback and for
Right.
Jalen Hurts to get injured. And in that 2019 season, which you're all so proud of, do you all know that big 4th and 2 that we all love and adore that Kittle had, where he ran for however many yards carrying Chauncey Garner Johnson and the rest of them? That would have never happened if Debo Samuel, who was a rookie, was struggling at that point. Because Emmanuel Sanders had been there, 6 weeks or something at that
Right.
point?
Yep.
Didn't put Kendrick Bourne in the right position because the rookie knew what the lineman was supposed to be if we didn't call that last minute timeout. So Kendrick Bourne, as amazing as he could be, had some big, unmistakable goffs that would have cost you big games. And at the end of the day, the good did not outweigh the bad when it came to him, in my opinion.
Kendrick Bourne always had somebody covering for him in a Niner
Yes.
uniform his entire career. He
Yep.
doesn't have that in New England, which is
No.
why he barely made the team this year.
Yo, Dave, I think one of my favorite plays from 2020, joke, was I think it was a Jets game. It could have been the Giants game, but it was like those back-to-back MetLife games where Brandon was put in
Right.
for the first time. And you remember he was like, you know what, screw you, KB. I'm going to jump right ahead of you and I'm going to grab this ball and I'm going to get yak. And that's exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the second I was like, okay, I love Brandon Ayuk.
Right.
I think Brandon Ayuk this year. What do you talking about Brandon Ayuk? I think. What do you think he's going to do this year? I think this kid's really going to flourish and take off this year. What are you
If he
guys' thoughts
doesn't
on
get
him?
1,000 receiving yards, I will be shocked.
Yeah, yeah. You think he'll have
I
more
mean,
yards than Debo?
he
Receiving
may
only.
or may not
Receiving,
because
yes.
we have more
Okay.
we have more options now than we did in 2020.
Yeah, not all
But the
purpose,
very
but receiving. Yeah.
but the very fact that he almost broke Jerry Rice's rookie record, missing 6 games was it? And he
Right.
did it with the combination of Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, for the part of the Jets game,
Beathard
CJ
and
Beathard
Moore.
and Nick Mullins, and he still almost got 1,000 yards, missing that many games. Like that's uberly impressive.
And now we'll
So
actually be able to use him in the capacity that he was drafted for, which is
Yeah.
an actual deep threat. No more hospital balls over the middle.
Oh God, the hospital boss.
Yeah.
No
You
more
just had
having
to
to
bring up
worry
those
about
horrible
yeah.
words. I love you, Dave. Why did you have to bring up those words? Yo, I cannot look Buddha Baker and not cringe for like 45 minutes after the freaking game is over. Like every time now, I always think Buddha Baker's gonna take somebody out. Oh,
Yeah, we're not
Right.
gonna.
it's so
Yeah, we're not
bad.
gonna have that no more with Lance, man. Oh
We
my
might
goodness.
No, that
actually be in a position after Sunday night to be in first place all by ourselves. The Cardinals have the Chiefs. The Seahawks have to deal with their former quarterback.
Yeah, the
Rams
Bronco.
already lost.
Love it.
This is a good position to be in.
That's the way it should be, right? Niners on top.
Yep.
Yo, that's crazy. That's the game we get in New Jersey. The stupid Cardinals and Chiefs game.
Oh man, I'm gonna watch that after this one. Take advantage of DirecTV's free week.
Oh, okay.
And sadly, I have to watch the awfulness that is the MetLife Bowl. So I will have to
Oh,
suffer through the Giants and the Titans with my father,
oh
which I
boy.
am not looking forward to at all.
Oh my goodness. Those games. Daniel
Yeah, my
Jones.
You know who their greatest receiver is right now? No joke. And this is going to make you both laugh.
Who?
Richie James.
Oh my
Richie
goodness.
James and Matt Breida are their top two options right now because Saquon Barkley is still not off injured
really?
very well. Yeah, they're both there.
Damn, I
Wow.
almost picked him for my fantasy team.
You didn't, huh?
I didn't.
You know who
Oh,
I did?
And
I
Kayvon
actually
Thibodeau is
did.
still
I
out,
actually did.
so
I actually
this is
did
gonna be a real
well
fun
with my
game for me.
fantasy team. I got Buffalo's defense for Thursday night.
Oh
No,
man.
really?
Yeah.
Oh man, we were crowing about Jalen Phillips that whole game. We loved him and Poyer and Oliver and all of them. Like, and that's without Tre'Davious White. Think about if he could just stay healthy for even half the year, how dominant that defense is going to be.
Yeah.
On one of my fantasy teams, I have Josh Allen, Diggs, Stephon Diggs, and Cooper Cup. So I made like
Oh
a bandit.
wow.
I made like a bandit on that one. But on my other one, I have
Yeah.
Cam Akers. I had Cam Akers who had made 0 for me. Go
Why
figure.
did you pick Cam Akers?
Probably
I
was
think
it
I
wasn't
think he'll be
anybody left.
okay, but
Probably.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
Richie.
And I sat there and I sat. Who did I bench instead of? I have Ayuk on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of my other receivers that I have on out there. I have CeeDee Lamb, and I have the Judy from the Broncos.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's where you know what I mean. But if I knew that Cam Akers was going to do nothing, I would have put Ayuk there. But you know, you
Ayuk is the
live and
only
learn.
49er I have on my team. I got him.
I got Trey Lance.
I got Hunter Renfro
I got him.
for a steal, and then I picked Chris Olaf
Oh, really?
as a third receiver.
Okay.
For
I
some
think he'll be.
reason, I
I think he's
think
going
that
to be
the
good.
Saints are going to have a big year
Yes.
passing wise.
Yeah, yeah. One thing we know about Crab Legs, he can throw. Even though if he throws to the opposite team, but he can throw.
Well, last year before he got hurt, he was actually doing well statistically.
But that was on the champagne. We'll see what
So
happens.
you guys really think that Atlanta is going to lose to them with the Honey
Yes.
Badger out and Michael Thomas out, and I still think that Kamara should be suspended personally myself, but I really don't think the Saints are going to have a good year.
Really?
I don't see them losing to Atlanta.
You know about what
Yeah,
Kamara
exactly.
did, though. Did you guys hear what Kamara did, though?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did
so
he beat
he was
somebody?
there. He was there representing the league at the NFL in Vegas during the Pro Bowl, and him and his buddies cornered some guy in an elevator with a camera, and they
And
started just
they
punching
stomped
the
him.
living shit out of him, punching him, kicking him, stomping on him, cussing him out. And it was all video footage, and it got leaked out and everything else. And still to this day, from what I've heard,
The NFL hasn't
still
stepped
no
in, huh?
No sentence has been ushered, and he was. This incident wasn't like just like a run of the mill like player acting up moment that gets kind of like swept under the rug. This is while he was at an NFL event representing the NFL, and there's still no kind of punishment for it, which is appalling to
Because
me.
I don't think the court case is settled yet, correct?
Is that what they're waiting
Yeah,
on? The
but
verdict to see
even when
what?
the court cases weren't settled on other players, they came down, especially if they embarrassed the Shield while these players were supposed to be representing the league. It's like,
Now let me ask you guys a question. I know this happened during practice, not in a live game. The difference between Miles Garrett and AD swinging the helmet at a player. Do you think he should have been suspended for that?
yes,
I do,
absolutely.
because he's done something like this before. Aaron Donald has always acted out at least once or twice a year. It's just that this didn't happen during a game, which is why the league can't touch him.
Correct.
But
But they should
But
change the
they should.
rules, man.
But I thought the commissioner had override power to do stuff when the Shield was being embarrassed and when player safety was an issue. Like
technically, he
that
does.
part never makes sense to me. Like you literally had him not only pull off Lyle Collins' helmet, but you had him have a secondary helmet in his hand, and he's swinging them like freaking like windmills, one after the other after
And
the
he's
other.
a big
Like there
boy
was
when it
about
comes to strength.
five
Yeah.
five different windmills of both helmets while he's hitting Lyle Collins with his own helmet, and he's hitting other Bengal players, even as he's being driven to the ground. And like Dave said, this is not the first time he's had an issue. He's gotten thrown out of a Niner game and then like ripped off his helmet and stomped off the field like a baby.
Yep.
And
Kicking people while leaving.
if this league is so serious about CTEs and head prevention, and
You would
they're
think, right?
limiting where these defensive players can hit a player because they don't want them to go too low or too high, and you're not supposed to be choke holding someone or whatever, all the other excuses that we hear that never really get enforced. You would think one of their stars taking off player helmets and then using them as weapons, especially after what Miles Garrett did, that this would be taken more seriously. But once again, Aaron Donald's making the money he is, and these are the Super Bowl champions, so he's
Well,
getting
it's
away
not
with
it's
what
not just
should be
that.
penalized to prevent
It's not
other
just
players
that,
from
though.
thinking that this is okay behavior.
But it's not just that, though. Their
Mm-hmm.
owner is the richest owner of the league. Jerry Jones is the second richest owner of the league. And if it
Yeah,
affects their team, the commissioner only has as much power as those owners will give him.
Yep.
Somebody like Cleveland, who doesn't have as much financial power, you can
yeah.
punish them. You can't punish the major markets or the teams with the most money. That's why Aaron
No,
Donald doesn't get punished.
no, I get that part, but I just think it's a little hypocritical. So then you can't say that someone like Kevin really deserves to be suspended for a year for gambling, which is a non-violent crime, and that you said that was embarrassing the Shield and impugning the Shield. But then these other cases where there's huge violence and huge people safety concerns that they get swept away because they're not embarrassment
Well,
to the Shield. It makes no sense.
that was actually wrong. It wasn't that it was embarrassing to the Shield. It was had the potential to affect their money, because let's
Mm-hmm.
say he did bet and he blew the games. You know, people bet on the NFL like 40 going north. If it
Yeah.
affects their pocketbook or has the potential to affect their pocketbook, that's what they're going to put a stop on. All this stuff that happens with the players as far as discipline, as long as it doesn't affect the league's bottom line, they don't care. And they've shown that time and time
Okay,
again.
but even Josh Gordon wasn't really hurting anybody. Randy, what's the guy that's a Bronco now that used to be a Cowboy? When he got suspended for drug use,
Oh, the
like
defensive
these guys
end
were
guy.
Randy
just
Gregory.
Gregory. Yeah.
yeah, him.
Yeah, but
Like
how many
these guys were
times
not
did they
hurting
do it?
anybody.
But how many times did they
I
do
know
it,
it was a
though?
chronic. I know it's a chronic thing with them, and they kept breaking it, and the suspensions grew further and further and further. But at the end of the day, there has to be like some kind of uniform line where violent acts should be treated differently
Money
than any
controls
other
everything,
kind
though.
of. I know, but still.
Power. If you have money, you have power. Like
Hey, I got a question for you
it's
guys.
not fair, but
You remember the 2020 season where they said that they weren't going to reschedule games, and then there was like two teams that no matter what happened, they always reschedule games. It was the Ravens and the Titans, and you remember the Titans was really surprising because they broke curfew and they went to a high school and they still practiced together even though that they all had COVID. I was always
Mm.
curious to hear other people like, why do you think those teams got away with it when teams like the Broncos were forced to play without a quarterback?
Because of where they are.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're
No,
saying it's because they're bigger uh, money dealers.
Yeah, I used to
no,
always
I'm
say it's not
saying
what you know,
because
it's
of
who you
where they
know.
are as far as a region. Tennessee really didn't have any guidelines regarding COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a sister-in-law in Chattanooga. If you wore a mask to protect yourself, you're looked at as the Antichrist over there. People were not going to
I
celebrate.
remember those photos. Those photos
Unfortunately,
that went viral where they go, if you wear a mask, you're not allowed in our store.
If you wear a
That
right?
was
mask,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, there was actual like photos like all over Twitter from the South where they said, if you try to wear a mask inside our store, we have the
Oh,
right to kick you out.
you said the South. That says enough right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got other issues
I'm
going
not.
on way worse than
I'm
that.
not dissing the South, but that just those kind of states like
I
Tennessee
yeah,
and I think
those
like
are dumb
Alabama and a
states.
few others
Right.
were like that.
It's a trip out there.
But in California, you can go into a bank wearing a mask and you're okay. I love it.
Now.
Now, yeah. I was like, man, if they were too good at catching you, yeah, no. I'm like, nope. In the 50s maybe, but not in the now. But everybody wearing a. There were some places that if you didn't wear a mask, they didn't allow you in 2020. You had to wear it.
Oh.
I'm not vaccinated, so I still wear a mask when I go places because I didn't get the vaccine. No religion
Uh,
stuff, but it just
I'm fully vaccinated, but I have a chronic illness, so I wear the mask no matter what because
yeah. I have chronic illness too. I was paralyzed from my
I
waist down.
can't I can't trust the people in New Jersey because they're freaking batshit crazy.
Yeah,
I'm fully vaccinated, but I still wear the mask wherever I go because I can't trust others.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
just
Yeah, I caught COVID. Well, I don't know if you guys ever caught it, but I caught it, and me and my wife caught it, and it was. I know our body's immune system was able to adapt to it since we had it, but it was terrible. But it didn't affect my breathing, but everything else, oh my goodness, you know what I mean?
mm,
It
Well,
was for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks of hell.
I have never had it.
Good for you.
Thankfully, my family has never had it. But I am a type 1 diabetic. My mother has a heart condition, and she's a type 2 diabetic. So we don't really go out much. But even like those first few times, like my mom wanted to go out and celebrate a birthday right before like the lockdown happened. So we went out
mhm.
on March 12th, which is between my birthday and her birthday. It's mine's the 5th and hers is the 31st. And I kid you not, the entire time, like I was antsy if there was like even a waiter too close to me. I got antsy like just taking off my mask to eat or drink. I got antsy if there was like even someone within like a 10-foot radius of me. Like
Oh
we really
wow.
had no idea for years what the hell got you to catch this thing. So and a couple years ago, I was in a coma and I almost died. And
Oh my
it's just
goodness.
still to this day, I get really antsy going out in public. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
thankfully,
I keep forgetting to. I'm a type 2 diabetic
yeah,
myself,
As am I.
yeah, and then I'm insulin dependent. And I
same. I'm instant of it because I'm type 1.
type 1. Yeah, okay. And I was paralyzed for 10 years. I was couldn't move anything from my waist down for. I was still shouldn't be walking, but I'm walking now by the grace of God. But I was for 10
Hmm.
years paralyzed, so my immune system's not that strong. But I just didn't
Yeah,
get the vaccine because I wasn't too familiar with it. Now I'm getting a little bit more data about it, but
yeah.
I have a bad habit of going into places all the time without my mask. I forget it. And then the next thing you know, by the time I realize I have my mask off, I already taught
Yeah.
like 20 people. And then I'm like, and it's my mask
See
sitting
what?
in my
See what
car.
I used to
Bad
do is
habit.
I used to take like all my favorite pieces of clothing, and I used to take all the extra like because my mom works at a hospital, so I take all those extra like masks that she would bring home because they're trying to keep that out of their
Okay.
building. And I used to stick like 6 or 7 different masks in each different pocket of my jackets and my sweaters and my jeans, and I'd leave them in there so that way, just in case, like, sometimes when you're running out of the door real quick, it's always with you. Because since you guys are diabetics, you probably know this. When I was in my coma, I had diabetic ketoacidosis, which means that your sugar's so high and out of control
Yeah,
Oh my
that
goodness.
you shouldn't
literally
even be alive.
literally
Wow.
your blood becomes poisoned, and it starts to shut everything down. You can't drink water, you can't keep anything down. And um thankfully my parents got me to the hospital in time, and they were able to save my life. But uh these things are real and they're scary. So I always kind of enjoy all the posts everybody makes on Twitter, but at the same time, like, I flinch to this day when everyone's like on top of each other maskless. It's just one of those things that
Right.
I don't think it's ever going to shake from all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I found out I had it. I went through that period where I couldn't hold down water for 2 to 3 weeks. All I did was get up
That is the
out of bed,
scariest
and
feeling.
then half hour, I'm back down. I couldn't hold down food. I lost about 45 pounds while I was
Yeah.
going through that, and couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then I got diagnosed, and thankfully I'm managing it a lot better here. But yeah, but you got to protect yourself at all times. It's not for it. They say it's not for you; it's for the public, but it is for you as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I like I said, I try to protect myself. It's just that literally forget. You know what I mean? I forget. People tell me put things on your phone so you can get reminded, and I forget to look at the phone. You know what I
No,
mean? It's just
literally just pick up like a box of
no.
those
I have them in my
disposable
pocket.
ones.
I walk into the
Yeah.
store. I have the mask in my pocket, like an extra mask, right?
Yeah.
And I leave the one in the car, but then I forget. But when I'm saying, by the time I take the one out of my pocket and put it on, because I remember I've already talked to like
Yeah.
5 people. You know what I mean? And it's like, darn.
Yeah, I
So
remember
it's not like
that.
I don't, and I get mad at myself because I'm also endangering my wife and the family by doing that as well. So it's not intentional. It's just, it's like, darn it, I'm so caught up on the phone or talking to someone or whatever. So I just get off the car like, prior to 2020, so it's, you know what I mean? And I got tons of masks, but you know what I mean? And especially me with the diabetes and not being vaccinated at all, protected at all, I am at
Yeah.
a higher risk. And so I kind of like, but I can't make a U-turn and start over again. I did that one time and I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
It's not, I started laughing. I actually went back to the car and like tried to redo everything. But I'm like, I already
So
talked to like few people.
a tip I would give you is when those situations come up, because sometimes they do happen. Like it's just normal to forget sometimes. Um, like if I'm in a grocery store or something, I would push myself all the way against the shelf, and I try to like space myself the farthest away from anyone I could possibly do. If there's someone else that's like going out for apples or wants to like reach over you, I'd like back away 2 feet and let them do their business and then go back to what I was trying to do. So like you gotta have that, especially with this disease. Like people don't think it's as bad as it is, but if you've lived with this disease, whether you're type 1 or type 2, like you really have to deal with that self-preservation. So like
Yes.
you kind of have to give yourself that kind of like little bubble to protect yourself. Once one domino starts happening, you have to worry about everything else.
Well, you know what scares me honestly with being a type 2 diabetic, that that
Hmm.
if you hit your toe, you hit something, you bruise, you have the chance of getting like gangrene and so
Oh,
forth. Now
the
check this
worst
out.
part
I have
is
no feeling because of my spinal cord injury. I can't, if something falls on my toes, I don't feel it.
yeah.
I can't feel nothing. I can
Mm.
walk, so I don't even feel the floor when I walk. So
Hmm.
I learned to walk on air, so to speak, even though I
Hmm.
can visually see that I'm walking on the floor, but I can't feel it. So that's extra. I have to be extra careful because when I hardly walk barefoot anywhere. I always have to have like shoes that are kind of, because the fact is that I can bump into something, for example, a table, and not even know that I bumped into it until later on I look at my toe. It's and it scares me. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, how you protect your household from kids, and you're always putting things in the plugs and everything. That's how I am for me, though. I'm always putting tape and bumpers, and you know what I mean. So people walk into
Right.
my home, they're like, "What's going on at night?" Well, and you will not understand, but I if I felt something that at least you can take care of it away, but I can hit my toe and then not know about it until a week later when it's really hurting.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's what
my
scares
one.
me.
That's my one fear.
Yeah.
Not being able to feel anything, especially foot wise. And I have size 13, so
Can
the
I
chances
ask
of
you guys
me
a
walking in with
question?
something
When
else
you
is
take shots, do you bruise easily? And it takes like forever for them to go down?
No, I don't bruise
'Cause
at
my
all.
left okay, because my left
I
arm, I get,
what
I have to take 4 shots a day, literally one for each meal, and then one for a 24 acting thing.
Do you take
So
that
I
one
take two
once a
type.
week? I take it's called
No,
Samtic.
no, 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 no. I have to take two because I'm type 1, so my
Oh, I
pancreas does
see.
nothing anymore. So I literally have to take a shot for each meal in the day.
So I
And then I
take
have to take
one, two,
I
three.
have to take a night
I
shot, so I
take
have
five a day.
a kind of overall 24-hour protection for like the smaller stuff like meat and stuff that doesn't normally get covered with the meals. So I have to take 2 types of shots. So I have to take 4 shots every single day, and I
Do
have
you
to
mm,
take
take
a
the
certain
long
amounts
lasting
for
and
the
the short?
meals.
You take the N
I ha-
or
I take both.
okay, so
I have
do
to
I.
take both.
I
Well, how
I
many
have
units?
Vic.
I'm sorry, real quick, Dave. How many units do you
Okay.
take of the N?
90 is the easiest one. It's what I had to take when I was first diagnosed back in '08, and I'm actually coming up on my anniversary of this.
90.
So I take 15 for each meal, and then I take 45 for the night.
So the
And
15 is the R, right?
yeah,
Okay. And
I
how about
take
you, David?
I take I'm luckily I found R and N are at Walmart, and you can buy them with even without the prescription. So thankful for that.
Hmm. Yeah. When I first started taking insulin, I did bruise easily. I've gotten used to it over the years. I take like one shot in the morning of Victoza, and I'm good as long as I manage what I eat. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Or just
when
just
you
one
first
shot a day? That's not bad.
just one shot a day,
Oh
but
my
got lucky.
goodness.
But when I first started injecting insulin, and where I injected, I bruised very easily. I would look at it the next morning. I'm still hurting from the day before. Just it's
You know
like
what?
this big
Come,
bump that was like,
come and think about it. Maybe I did bruise. I just don't remember it because it's been a minute as well that I've taken it. So I take 3 in the morning. I take one in the middle of the day and then 2 at night.
Yeah.
And
mm,
then I take the one shot once a week, which is called a Simtic, or it's a commercial that comes on there. That
oh yeah,
I've heard
I've,
of that. Yeah.
my
I've
I
heard of
have
that.
Medicare and Medicaid because of my disability. So
Yeah.
I throw away insulin because sometimes it just goes bad because they give me so many of it, and
Yeah.
I'm not and then I'm really bad with the R, and I'm not one that really, and I know it's not really smart of me, but I don't really I watch what I eat, but I don't really like inject. Sometimes I forget to inject myself, but I don't know about you guys,
I've
but
been there.
the highest that my sugar has ever been high is about 240. It's never been
You're
Oh,
higher than
lucky.
that. And then
You're
when I
so.
that's the
when I
highest for
went to
me.
I'm
when I
sorry,
went
but
to
you're
P,
lucky. Like
See, and I don't know
when I,
anything different. And the lowest has always been like 90, 90,
mm,
hmm
and that. But I
I
feel it
have
more when
days
it's low than it's high. You know that?
I have days where I've gotten as low as 88,
Oh wow.
and the highest I was when I went through that ketoacidosis. I was at 400. They said I shouldn't have even been able to walk into the emergency room.
See, I never
Uh,
passed 280.
but
I think.
now
see,
I'm never, if I'm over 130, then that's bad for me. I usually keep
mhm.
it between 90 and 130 per morning.
In the morning.
see,
What am I right now?
see. I actually, for me, it was
Let's see.
scarier. When I got sick, and it was a couple summers ago. My blood sugar supposedly was so off because I didn't have any night insulin because the prices just were too expensive, and
See, right
my
now,
doctor was trying to help me out with like those free trials, and
I
so
just
I
checked
was
my
trying to
blood right
like,
now. It's 158. I have it
yeah,
on my arm. You know, you just
um, oh,
Okay.
I can't do that. I don't heal at all. So anyway, so when my scare happened, I was trying to like cut down on the night thing because I thought if I could just milk this until my next appointment, I'll be okay. And
Right.
nobody had told me the dangers of not doing that. So when I got hospitalized, my sugars were actually through the 600s, and I was barely
Mm.
eating or drinking. But because I had been siphoning off my insulin slower and slower each day and not really understanding the perils of doing that for the night shot, the big 24-hour shot, that's how I got so sick. And thankfully, the on-call doctor was not my actual doctor, and he
Uh-huh.
knew about the craziness because they were asking like for like $300 per pen, and like those pens go really fast.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Yeah.
um, he told me about Walmart, and he told me about like the 70/30 that they have for the people who need the fast and long acting at the same time. They had the R's, the N's, and now there's even ways for you to get insulin syringes without a doctor's appointment, because like if you don't have insurance, like I don't have insurance, they want like $50 just to see them, and then they always give you all the crap, like you have to pay for labs and you have to pay for
Ouch.
all
Right.
this stuff out of pocket and stuff. So now it's you getting even harder to get like even the most basic of the necessities to survive every day. So um as sick as I was, as much as I would never wish that on anyone, I am grateful because I learned a lot from that one doctor. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that point, Tanisha.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I cut completely. One of the things that really helped me is the only thing I drink now is just lemon water, water with lemon. No more sodas. I
you
cut the
gotta, you
sodas
gotta,
completely.
you guys have to be really careful with that because
With lemon?
no, just with flavored waters.
Oh,
Because a couple years
Right.
ago, my dad, he felt guilty because I was like a type 1, and the rest of them are mostly healthy, so they can still have ice cream and cheat and have all the stuff that normal people eat. So he bought me those sugar-free candies for like Halloween and Easter
oh,
and Christmas,
those
and
will give you the
Those
runs
are
if
they,
you eat too many.
they tell you in the hospital to carb count. Like they'll tell you you have to take however many units per every 15 that it says on the back of the wrapper. And because they're doctors, you believe them. And so you don't really know how it's going to affect your blood sugar. So, what I would suggest for just anybody, stay away from the chocolates. That they're not worth it. That they're just going to send your sugar through the roof. Whether it's the artificial stuff to make or simulate the sugars in chocolate to begin with, and the other thing to be careful of sparkling waters, because when I was just drinking sparkling water, no
right.
teas, no soda, no juice, I can't handle juice at all. Like I can't, because it just spikes me up and then I crash afterwards. Like
Right.
it's just
It
too
spikes it up.
glucose-free. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just like pure sugar that goes right to your through your bloodstream. Bloodstream. So I'd stay away from sparkling water because my dad was buying that for me, like buy the big cases, and he was buying all these black cherries because he knows I love cherry flavor. And
Right.
my sugar for out of nowhere, I promise you, I was eating maybe a banana or an apple, taking the same amount of insulin I would for a huge big meal, and my sugars were like 200, 300. I was like, what the hell is causing this? I'm working out. I'm not eating, and it's still this high. And then I realized that the company, without needing to, because the FDA rules says that they don't have to report it, they changed the preservatives and the real juice factor, so they didn't have to write all those ingredients on the back. And
Oh.
that was what was making it act up with my insulin. So my sugar
That's
was going up, and I
terrible.
had no idea why it was happening.
Yeah,
So I
that's
was
terrible.
yeah, it was the CVS brand of whatever sparkling water they had. I have no idea
Oh
what it is
yeah.
anymore.
I'm familiar.
Hey guys, real quick, I'm really enjoying this conversation. I would love to have you guys on again, even privately, and just. But my wife just gave me that look, like because there's something that I have to do before I just later, and she's.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I
Say
got
no
that
more.
look. She scared me. So this is a Latino in panic right now. Yeah, it's like if I she goes, don't be afraid of COVID or diabetes. Be afraid of the wife. So.
Oh
Hey,
yeah. Most definitely.
my mother's from Bogota, Colombia. I know the look very, very well.
Yeah. She's a Filipina, man. And Filipinas,
Oh,
they're,
say no more.
yeah. So, yeah, enough said. All right, guys. Thank you for being part of the
is
show.
fun.
OG, thank you for coming on. Melissa, we got to do this again, even if it's just privately to talk. It was fun. Enjoy you guys. And then Tuesday, you said
Dave,
Tuesday
you
at
guys
5.
are
You're
live
good?
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Tuesday's good.
Okay, 5. Okay, cool. I double book it. I got to
Well, it's
remember
a
to.
nice seeing you, actually.
Huh?
It's nice to see you too.
Oh,
Nice
yeah, same
seeing
here.
you.
Yeah,
Dave.
likewise. All right,
Dave, are
guys.
you live tomorrow?
Me? No.
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Today. Sorry, it's today now.
Well, for us, it's
today
still
where you
tomorrow.
guys are. So
For us, it's still
we
tomorrow.
yeah,
3
still
more
10
hours.
o'clock.
Yeah. You're midnight
It's
already.
1 o'clock here. It's
Right.
1 o'clock here.
You're
so.
1 o'clock?
Yeah, 3
Yeah, it's
hours.
1
Oh,
in
yeah,
the morning.
3
We're
hours.
3 hours ahead.
Yeah, see, that's how nervous I am right now. I don't even know how to tell time. Yeah, I'm gonna go
It's
before
okay.
I lose my
I
privileges.
always get that wrong because I'm like thinking 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock here, and then I'm like, what is it over there? And I'm like, oh shit, it's only 4. I'm like, it's just so weird sometimes. Like you know the difference in your head, but like when you talk, you always have to make sure that you're like saying Eastern Standard Time or Pacific Standard Time
Right.
because like otherwise you're completely on the wrong track.
Right.
All right, guys. We'll talk again soon. Melissa, thank you
Yes,
once
sir.
again, and David, thank you for coming on and helping me spend the evening. And
You guys have a nice weekend, and let's go Niners.
And let's go Niners, and everybody in the
Indeed.
chat. Thank you for watching and keeping up with us. God bless. Good night, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Bye.